How are you all doing? Ralfy here, Ralfy Customs. Part 2 of our Daz's Intruder. It's not a Virago. You don't like it when I call it a Virago. Regular readers will know we've chopped the arse off it basically, worked out how best to do what we're going to do, and we've come up with this, which looks far fucking better than the OG carbuncle that was on it. I'm sure you will agree. Nicer lines, a narrower seat, and it's going to sit better with a mudguard on than it ever did with those side plates in it. We've had lots of comments saying about where I'm joining the tube and best way of doing it. Pie cuts, not sure, can't get in properly anyway, and it's not going to be as strong as I'd like. You don't need to be that strong, like it's not a stress member. Turned adapter's not going to work because we're not following the same angle. We've pinched a bit round and up, so we would have had to do them offset, work out the angle. I thought all that originally, but what we've gone for is good old-fashioned fucking slice and taps. So we'll end up with a tapered joint once it's welded in the outside. The bits you can see I can get to clean them up lovely. So that's how it's going to go. It's going to taper down to the new tube. That one's a bit proud still. We'll have to give it a few love taps and maybe cut a little piece out of it before we weld it up. So next on the agenda is get the other side in matching, which is always a pain in the arse, especially when you're not on the jig. We do have Josh today, so he has got a fucking banging eye when it comes to lining stuff up. And we've got datum lines. We've got this line is where the bend starts, and there's one for that rail that's sat on floor. So we can insert it, we can put a straight edge across, we can put a level on the straight edge, and we can measure back or eye up or whatever like to make sure that that's in the right place before we tack it in. Righto, here's how we do it, look. We get a bit of angly-dangly or something equally as flat. I'm surprised that's not turned off. And we zero it on the upright disc and then set it to 90 across the seat base so that we know, and then we can fuck about for like half an hour, trust me, getting it in the right place, get a little clamp on it. What I've done is put a straight edge up the side of the wheel, and this rail is pretty much central to the edge of the wheel, which is what I believe our Daz wanted. So we can get some tacks on that at that. Then we can put this in after we've cleaned up that area to put the little boss on. And then we can put the one across where the angle line is. Obviously we'll move the angle line. And then we can sort the back end out if it needs a tweak. It might not be exactly level across those rails, but once we've got the other bits in, the other two rails in to support it, we can give it a little tweak. So after much, I'm going to say that a lot in this video, after much fucking about, we've got this boss on there, look. The tricky thing is getting that level because there's nothing to measure off, basically. Both sides are not the same. So we had to put a straight edge through using this angle line as an eyeball. I don't know if I can show you, but right down there where you can't see is the boss. So we put a straight edge across, lined it up with this, and then looked at where the boss is sat, and they're fucking bob on. The next challenge is going to be this bottom loop, and again we know that it comes where it comes back here, so we can square across or whatever to get a start and finish line, and we know that the bottom of it follows the line and the swing arm that I really sort of show you, because I can't get this in where it, there you go, look at the gap, look, it's about the same. So that's the next thing. Okay, after much fucking about, I'm going to stop saying that in this video, we've got that in. The problem is this centre part, these two rails going down where the bosses are, this one's like 1/4 of an inch further in. They're not the same on the bike. You can see it there, look. It's not as obvious as the camera makes it look at the minute, but that one there's a big gap and that one there's a little gap. So getting these the same was not happening. That one obviously goes in more at the front than that one. But the gap at the back that I can't really show you, okay, it's fucking bob on. Yeah, we've got them in then, and we've took this off and put another one on because we don't want any twisty pissy up here. We're going to put a tube in here that takes the back of the battery tray that I've lost. Oh, it's there, dickhead. This battery tray should go in there and now don't fit because the seat's narrower, yeah, which was on the brief. And there is a tube that runs in there all the way across. So what I will do, probably off camera, is just cut that fucker off if I can. Not sure where it joins up there. I might have to get in with my multi-tool and trim this off. This is for the tool pouch. It has a tool pouch that goes in there, and we'll trim some of this off if it comes over this, because the seat base is going to sit on that. So yeah, there's that bit. I'm just waiting for our Josh to finish multi-tooling the electrics box down, and we'll give it a quick clean up, drop it in place and see where this rail's got to come, and then we can tack that in, and then that is the tubing done. We've got to level these ends up, make sure they're square this way and that way, because there might be a slight discrepancy, and then we're on to the mudguard, seat base, etc. Couple of happy days. Right, and that is the much trimmed down battery carrier with its corresponding support rail. So, and look, I don't know if that's still on, but look, that the back of those rails is as fucking straight as you like. So that is the framework done, not welded up. What we've got to do now is we can put the tank on, which is a fucking two-man job. I'll get the engine hoist. It's bigger than my fucking missus. Put the tank on and look at the seat base. Can't do the seat base till we've done the mudguard, Ralfy. Right, so whatever we do the mudguard. Now here's a funny story. There is a story. So last year Daz has come to me with this mudguard and said, I've got this mudguard, I want to use it on my fucking Intruder, on my Barocco. Can you make it wider? Yeah, we did. Josh and me did it. Josh made a lovely job. He did some right good work. I'm sure it's on a video. Now we're doing it properly, look. Now we're actually doing the back of the frame. Guess what? It's too fucking wide. It fits on the outside. This used to sit inside the frame rails, and now it sits on the outside. So you can guess what's next for this fucking poor mudguard, can't you? Talk about used, abused, rode hard and put away wet. There used to be a fucking magazine called Iron Horse, which were all shovels and pans, fucking great magazine. And on the front of one of them it did say rode hard and put away wet back in the day.
Don't forget, folks, our Fuck Stock stickers are now available in our Etsy store, link in the description below. Fuck stock, you know it makes sense.
Alright, hold on a fucking minute. This is, look, so I'm taking notes. We're on the mudguard. It needs to be guard minus 3 3/4 of an inch. Josh has gone, that ain't even fucking English. It looks like 4AURJ or something. Was it J? Mm-hmm. Yeah, So I've used my best handwriting. Now it looks like a special needs 4-year-old's fucking done it, and it hurt me thumb. So then I've said to Josh, you write it normally. That's what he wrote. Look at his J. Alright, I might have embellished it slightly to look like a comedy penis, but you know, that's the first thing that fucking sprung to mind. Josh is hiding because he's camera shy, but we've marked the centre of the mudguard, which is usually quite difficult. You can lay them on the side if the sides are square and jack the pen up off something and go round like, but it never quite works out. Fortunately, we'd already done this, haven't we? Like I said, so we know that this strip is 2.5 or whatever it was. and we come out the centre and transfer that through. Due to the power of fucking maths, which is all around us, we can mark that centre line and then go inch and 7/8 from each side, which gives us 3 3/4. So I'm going to use a cutting disc. It will negate cleaning out all of that horrible fucking fiberglass shit that Daz put in, but it will bring into play these nasties. So swings and roundabouts. I'd sooner fill little up, well, quite big holes, than I would grind out fucking fiberglass. Right, so nothing, not too much finesse, although we have got gloves and a mask on because it's not very nice. And because it said then it'll cut that easy, I hope. Okay, so as you've just seen, we've trimmed the shit out, and look at that, fucking hell. And we're going to do exactly the same but smaller. Because we're making it narrower, not wider, we can do it so that the edges touch. And my top tip when you're doing this sort of work is you're never going to cut it fucking dead straight, but once you've cut it, put it on your flat surface and see where the gaps are. There's a gap there, look, you see the light shining through it, so there's an eye point next to it, and you can use that to tweak it and get it pretty fucking damn good. Now we're not too worried about that because we're going to put a backing strip in it. We're going to cut 2 little strips, say 50mm wide. We're going to not put it immediately there because that extra thickness is a pain in the arse to get round. We might cut a little piece there just to fill that in. But before we do that, we'll tack the 2 halves together and then we'll cut the strips and lay them in and get a splinter and a finger lar. Happy days. So we put next door and borrowed their guillotine to cut the strips, bless them. Fucking hell, it's cold. And obviously we need to curve it, so this gives us a good excuse to use a pipe anvil, which is a fucking great bit of kit. And all I'm going to do is feed this in a little bit at a time and give it a little tweak, just like that, and that will start to form a nice curve in it. Yeah, so same this end, it's all by feel. There's no fucking stops or measurements or anything like. Big pipe for big curves, little pipe for little curves, so on and so forth. And then once we've got that about where we want it, we can clamp that on there, can't we? And that'll give us a nice backing to the joint if you don't throw it on the floor. So we've shaped that, we've got a few clamps on it, we're just going to get some tacks on the back here. It does get awkward when you go to join the other half, but we'll get both of these strips on and that'll give us a really good start. So, mind your eyes?
Yep.
Can't see. So it's splashing out because there's a load of shit in the fucking metal. That's nearly gone through. Right, with that one clamped on, tacked on, the 2 strips are tacked on 1/2. Now the problem we've got is that the top of the mudguard's not flat, and obviously that strip sits flat, not curved. Because we've cut so much out of this mudguard now, we're getting into a round profile which we've not got in these strips that we've put in. So what I like to do is start at one end, get a clamp on, put a couple of tacks on, and then pull it down and push it in. I can't show you because it'll just open that up. But pull it down, push it in, pull it down, push it in, work it all the way along. There will probably come a time where I need to get in with an hammer and dolly and reshape it a little bit. Or, and Josh will like this, run it through the English wheel to get that shape. But we'll see how it goes. So, yeah, at first glance you're like, there's no way you are going to join those. They don't match the fucking what you done, you dickhead. But because we did that flat test on the bench that I showed you earlier, we know despite appearances that these ain't a mile out. So we can trust in the faith and tack it, move it. Worst case it fucks up, you just break your tacks. Just take your tacks off and have another go. Yeah, it's no big deal. I'll get on and do a bit. So mind your eyes, I'll get a tack on it a lot. Using the no mask squinty fucking safety squint. Eyes. And again, eyes. Oh, missed it, another one. Right, so now we can fucking bend this down and push it in. Look, we're starting to gain a bit, so we can go about there, eyes, and then carry on round. I'll have to clamp it in the vise a bit nearer this because the old thing's fucking floppy to do that, look, but you get the picture. Righto, so we did have to pop the tacks, and we had to start in the middle and work out because of because of this is curved and the strip isn't, so it was just splaying the ends. If you started one end, the other end were like fucking gaping. So that is that. It needs knocking into submission. I mean, knocking into shape a little, and it'll never be a fucking masterpiece because it's a shitty old mudguard. It's one thing I hate more than working on than shitty old mudguards, and that is shitty old mudguards. So it needs knocking up and trimming up, and the sides cutting out. To be fair, I don't think it's ever gonna be a masterpiece, but with the right amount of filler and paint and everything else that you do when you do these things, then yeah, you know, we'll see. We will see. So it does just fit. There is a gap. We need a gap for the ends of the modules, and it is a nice length actually. That surprised me that I might be able to get. Don't know. Might have to cut this out and drop a tab down with the captive bolts in, captive nuts, sorry. But I'm not sure how big the battery is or quite how it sits because I've not got one. So we need to look at that front mount. I will off camera get that welded up more and get it more into shape, ain't it? It's a shame that we've not got something that would be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing laying around, although that is for a future job of mine, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so that is all tackety wackety. We have gone on the old fucking railroad track anvil and tapped it all flat as it's going to get, and it's a nice width now for the frame. It's just too long on the side, so nice width on the frame. There's a bit of a gap, but Daz wants the sides cutting right out of it, so that's going to present another issue when it comes to the dowels that are going to go, the countersunk brackets that are going to finish the frame rails are going to bolt to the mudguard, and they're this size, 1.25 inches. So yeah, if we cut it off here, I've just had a guesstimate, sorry, not filming it very well, I've scratched a line badly, really fucking badly. What I'll do is make a cardboard template probably, or something similar to get both sides about the same, and then we're going to have threaded bits welded to this for sure, and countersunk bits welded to the end of the frame. So what I will do, I won't bore you with me welding it, but I will get this all stitched and tacked and fucking sorted, a bit inside and a bit outside. I'm not going to fully weld it because I don't think it needs it. My only caveat is I might put a bracing, a bit of something thick, a bit of 6mm or something in here at the end to mount it, to strap it all nice and solid so it's super strong, because it is just a thin mudguard, but it might be alright. We'll see how it comes together. Well, that was a fucking experience, I don't mind telling you. So we have welded and sanded, and it's still red hot, and filled and done the ends, trimmed the ends up and everything. It was hard work, as I've said. Fucking about with old mudguards is not on my list of lovables, but there you go. That is now the right width. It is now fucking stronger down the middle than it is at the side, and it's going to take a good bit of fucking filling and prepping to make it look shiny, lovely, smooth, but that's not my brief. So we now need to look at chopping the sides out. I will go and offer it up to the bike and get a bit of an eye, and we'll decide. I reckon about 2 inches, but I don't know, I'll have a look. Okie fucking dokie, so here's where we're at. We've got a little bracket there that we'll do a cutout for the seat base if needs be, to miss that little flap. We'll make a little window because we don't want to drop it down in case it fouls the electrics and battery. And we've got to cut down, slim down fucking mudguard. This looks fucking quite natter. I'm pleased with that. What we're going to do next is the countersunk modules that go on here, and we're going to make some threaded bosses to weld on the mudguard so that it's got it super fucking strong. So I'm happy to report I will finish my day today over at the lathe, pretty much. Okay, first things first, we need to cut a couple of blanks and then we'll face to length. 32mm this is, which is quite chunky. I didn't want to go at the length of it up the throat of the lathe flapping about, so we'll do it this way. Right, before I get on lathe, it's a few days after the last clip. I just want to thank everyone for all the support. I had a kind of a medical emergency. I've been having throat pains right high up, and they radiate down my chest, down my arms, up into my jaw. And I'll tell you what, those that know me know I've fucking been divorced twice, and it was almost the most painful experience of my life, one of these occurrences. Generally it's just painful, but I had it one time where it was fucking debilitating. So like a twat, I've gone to the doctor and he's gone, fuck me, here's a letter, take it to the nearest accident and emergency department. I think you're having a cardiac event, Mr. Ralfy. So that was 8 hours of my life I'll never get back. Fortunately, I got the all clear. My ticker's all right. This problem has not gone away, and it is not very fucking nice. But I'm happy to report that I'm not dying, even though I feel like I am sometimes. So thank you everyone on my socials. I was overwhelmed. I put a post up bitching about the hospital, not bitching about being at the hospital really, but the amount of fucking comments and support, and oh, fantastic. I'm blown away. Right, let's get back to the programme. So we're going to make the bits that go in the end of the frame tube that take a countersunk M10. I've got one here somewhere. These are a bit short, but I don't keep a lot of stock, but it will show you the relief look. So first thing we're going to do, as always, I've chucked it up and we're going to face them to length. So we're just going to take a nice clean up. I could machine this end ready to take that bolt, drill it through, counter bore it and all that, but what I want to do is machine it to length first, just to make sure that some twat, which would be me, hasn't cut them a bit fucking short. So we'll get that faced off, we'll break the edge. We don't want to count a big chamfer, man, because one side's going to couple up to a threaded bit. Oh, fuck off. Sorry, not you, me. So I'll just repeat on this end, and then I'll measure it and I'll cut off, I'll face off as much as I need to. So all we need to do with this one is, we're not worried about finish, we ain't worried about fuck all, we just want to make sure that it's flat, which it is. So I'll take it out and I'll measure it, and then we'll machine it down to length. A quick change of plan. I am going to chamfer very slightly the edge that's not going to go against the coupler, so the edge that is countersunk coupler, the threaded bit I'm going to make. So what I'm going to do is just touch on there. It is down to length, 42mm for those that are interested. I'll touch on and I'll zero my digital readout, and then I'll move along and eyeball it and go maybe a bit more. So we're going to go about there. Right, that is what I've moved 1mm that way. When I do the next one, that gives me a repeatable chamfer. So I'll touch on, move one way, and both chamfers will be the fucking same. Bob's your answer. Just give that a quick clean up with a file. It never cuts lovely, that chamfer tool. It makes the right shape, but it leaves a bit of an edge. I know that like it shouldn't be doing that. You know, the reason you often touch that on a job is to break that edge, and we don't want to leave an only edge. But there you go. That's one plug, one blank. I'll do the other off camera, and then we'll get them drilled and bored. See, it's dead fucking simple. Righto. You probably can't hear me that well because you're over the other side of the job, but we're just facing this up to length. I'm going to leave that middle bit because that's going fucking bye-bye. Yeah, we'll have that away. There you go, but you can hear me about. We'll change out to the chamfer tool, and we'll do that 1mm thing that we did before, so bring it up, touch on, which is, come on you fucker, there, 0 off, and move along 1 mil. Dead simple, ain't it? So, dead. So, that's that. Quick dress up with a filey, with a smiley filey. It needs to fucking clean. Now we can drill it through clearance for M10 and counterbore it, ready to take the head. Because we like to take a bit of head. Right, I'm hoping you can see very well. You can see very well. The autofocus is going to play fuck with me reaching around. There's loads going on there, isn't there? Reaching around, fucking hell. Head, the whole lot. So, we will, as always, start off with a centre drill, just to get things centred. And then, because we live a rock and roll fucking lifestyle, we'll go straight in with a 10mm clearance. Bit of lube, because that's what separates us from the animals, eh boys? Well, that little nub I've left on has not quite gone away with that 10mm clearance, but that's not a worry. So I'll get this drilled all the way through, off camera. Like fucking so, that's just broke through. You're right in the way of me fucking. I can't unlock the fucking tail stop. There we go. Bastard. So, get this swarf out of the way. There you go. Quick flash. Quick flash in my hand. I wish we'd took that knob off. I might go back and just break that off, but I don't think I will. I think I'll do it with the countersink tool. Right. Look, it's a fucking countersunk tool. What I want to do is just remove that fucking chunk that I left on like a twat. So we're there. Okay. Now what I will do is come back at it. I need to read my scale on my quill. So I'll nudge that up and I'll leave it unlocked and I'll wind the handle until I can see 10, which is just there. Right, you can't see that obviously. Plenty of lube, not running too quick, and we need to make this counterbore 12mm deep, because on a metric cap head bolt, the depth of the head, right, the size of the head is the same as the thread, the square. So they're about 16.5mm to clear a 10mm bolt, but we need to go 12mm deep. So there's 10. And we'll just do the last 2, which is there. We've not got to be super accurate, it is just clearance for a bolt, like, but it wants to look posh. So let me move you a bit if I can. Hold on, find me deburring tool. I love this fucking deburring tool. Break that edge. So now, if there's not too much shit in the arm, this should be quite a fucking good bit of fucking clearance. There you go. Now I've got that stuck. Can't get that out. But the part's done, so it don't matter. We could magnet it out. We could fucking stick some bubble gum on some. Oh, nearly fucking long enough, look, but it's not. Don't matter. So that is one chunky monkey mudguard mount, and it has still got a slight burr on it. So let's fuck that off. Look. Let's fucking make sure that we actually deburr it this time. I could probably do with changing my blade. No. Oh yeah, that's got it. Lovely. Right, onto the part 2, the threaded bit. So these are dead simple. We do need to shape them considerably to match the mudguard. But for now, we just need 2 bits of this, 16mm long, well thick if you like. No, long, 16mm long. Yeah, I love that. With an M10 threading on, so we're just facing it up. We've cleaned the outside up with a little bit of Dick Emery, because it's got a little bit of surface rust on it, because I'm in a fucking cold and damp environment, and me and the tooling gets a bit fucking rusty in the winter, and the tooling and the stock even. So face that up, fuck this off out of the way, bring this in, and I will just give that a quick centre drill. Let's move that out of the way properly. Give this a quick fucking centre drill to get the ball started. So As always, you've just seen me do this, nothing new here. A good dab of lube, because that's what separates us from those animals. And steady away with the centre drill, don't go full hammer because you'll snap the end off it. I've broken more of these than I've fucking blunted, I'll tell you. Alright, now we're in with the M10 tapping drill, which is 8.7mm. Come on, get a bit cosier. Now this bit is 16mm, but I'm going to drill it deeper than that. I am going to go about 30mm, which gives us enough room to get the tap in and a full flutage. We don't want to cut a thread that's not consistent. It'll be a bit tight at the end if we only drill this 16mm or even 19mm to allow for the parting blade. It can give us a thread because the taps are tapered when they start, even my spiral flutes. I think, I'm saying that, but I've learnt to go about a tap step when you're doing threaded holes on stock like this, and then when you finish the job you end up with a consistent thread. A bit of a chamfer to get the thing started. Could have was in the kitchen just to get things off the ground like that. Maybe a bit more. Go again. There we go, like that. Yeah, look, I'll try and show you what I mean. If you can see that edge, it's tapered. It don't go straight in at full diameter. So if you only did it 16mm, the very end where this bit reaches, once it bottoms out, like, if you didn't snap it off, which you probably fucking would, it would not give you a consistent thread. So I like a bit of clearance. So 30mm seems to be plenty. It's just my standard go-to. You can measure each one and work it out, but fuck that, life's too short. Go 30mm deep, you'll always get a full thread. Unless you're really short of material, and then you'd have to measure it and be very careful, wouldn't you? But we're not. Okay, so here we come with that tap fitted in the collet. It's not the way to do it. You should have a tap holder, but we ain't, so we hold it in a collet. Plenty of lube. And with my hand on the clutch in case of, we just feed it in and it'll take it off us now and auto feed its way in. Watch for a full threadage like that. Back it out like that. Come on. I normally speed it up, but I'm not very speedy today. And then we should be good to part it off. So we're coming with a parting blade. Look, people always struggle with parting on the lathe. I don't. I've found that if I try and use a 2mm parting tool, I just destroy them. So I've gone to 3 and it's absolutely fine. These want to be 16, so we move it along 19 to allow for the thickness of the blade. It's not crucial, these are going to be ground up to foot before they're welded in place, so we're not worried about leaving a bit and turning it around and facing it off, and none of that shit, like. We're just going to part it off and then give it a manual fucking deburr. So, using the power feed, everything locked off, plenty of lube. There she blows, look. What I will do before it cuts all the way through is stop it, back it out so it don't make an horrible noise, and I will just come in and break that edge, just because we're fucking posh like that, innit? So back to nearly touching, back with the lube, and just fucking send it, mate. Once it gets about there, which is about there, stick the handle up the hole, you got it. There you go. That is one chunky monkey that's going to get welded on the mudguard once it's been shaped, and that will take the bolt that's going to hold it all together. Right, so we've got the bits that weld on the back of the frame, and we've got the bits that weld on the mudguard and join them together. I've not got any bolts long enough, well, cap head bolts, but I'll use a shot bolt and a washer to bolt them together. And then what we need to do is mark these at 8mm, because we need 8mm off the bottom because of the shape of the mudguard that you can't see very well, because the mudguard does this fucker, and where these come in is like on that fucking bend, so it fucks off, and we need it thin at the bottom, fat at the top, otherwise we'd just have a massive load of weld and it'd look wank. So we're going to shape them roughly. It's not got to be a perfect fucking what's it, fucking called? Profile. The profile's not got to be absolutely fucking perfect. We just want to give them a nicer shape so there's not such shitty welding. Okay, fucking dokey. So we've got long bolts, we've got washers to stop the bolt heads. Focus, you fuck, being pulled into the fucking job line, and we will nip that up like so. So that holds that all together. Now I'll try and release that without fucking using the old knee method, without dropping it. You will see, look, if I line that up with a job, which is about there, there's a yawning gap at the top. There's an 8mm gap, I measured it. So I'm going to put some marks on there, 8mm down, and using the fucking flappy wheel, take it down. Put a taper on this bit so that it sits against the mudguard a bit nicer. I won't bother filming that, but I'll show you when I've done. Righto, with those ground up, look, to the angle of the dangle, the mudguard needs lifting up, obviously, to fit the gap, but we've got magnets holding it, top and bottom, holding these top and bottom, so that the central on the tube, on this tube, and we've pulled it about until it fits when I pull it up into place, and everything's looking lined up. We'll get a couple of tacks on the frame section, so we'll get a couple of tacks on here, yep, both sides, and then we'll pull the mudguard up. It's not quite fucking even, no surprises. I just need to double check that fucker and all. I think that one's a bit pointy up here, but I'll get a tack on and then we'll move it accordingly. Righto, so we have gone off the back disc for an upright, and then we've set our angle block to 0, and we want 90 to make sure that we're square to the bike, and we're 0.10 of a degree out, which will fucking do for me. So we've got them tacked on both sides, and they're equal at the bottom. I had to pull the mudguard about a bit to get them equal. Focus, you fucking thing. And look at the splash that's come out of that because of the shit in the metal that I won't want to. The mudguard, not my stock. It's a nice bit of EN3. That's that done. That is fucking mounted. It's just tacked up. These tacks did flex a little, we'll say. Excuse me. While I was fucking about getting that back lined up, but everything is fucking solid as a fucking rock. Jesus wept. That ain't going anywhere once it's all welded up. And like I said, our Sue's only a little bird. Same can't be said for fucking Daz, bless him. So that is fucking mounted up, lovely and fucking chunky. Okay, so that's another stage of the job done. There's a few bits and bobs still left to do if you want to follow along. It just leaves me as always to say thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing or even becoming a member of the channel. It makes a massive difference. All of your thumbs up, all of your comments, all of that interaction is basically what I do this for. Yeah, we've got a good community going on in this channel, and I'm very grateful for it. So I will catch you on the next one. Big love everyone, and I will see you soon.